When you think of almonds, you probably picture a healthy snack. Crunchy, slightly sweet, and often packaged in a little resealable bag that costs way more than you'd like. Maybe you toss them into your granola, sprinkle them on your salad, or just eat them by the handful, convincing yourself that almonds are the ultimate guilt-free treat. But here's the curveball. Some almonds can actually be poisonous. Yep, we're talking about raw almonds, specifically the ones known as bitter almonds. Turns out, not every almond is created equal, and while some will help lower your cholesterol, others could, well, lower your lifespan. So today we're diving into the strange, nutty truth about why some almonds are dangerous, how sweet almonds became the ones you actually snack on, and whether you really need to worry about what's lurking in your trail mix. Let's crack this mystery open, right here, on History of Food. Before we separate the sweet from the deadly, let's talk about almonds in general. Almonds aren't really nuts. They're seeds from the fruit of the almond tree, which belongs to the same family as peaches, apricots, and cherries. If you've ever noticed that an almond looks a little bit like a peach pit, that's because they're cousins. Think of almonds as the refined, business-casual version of the peach pit, more polite, less fuzzy. These little seeds have been cultivated for thousands of years. Ancient civilizations loved them. The Bible mentions almonds. They were found in Tutankhamun's tomb, and the Romans gifted them at weddings as symbols of fertility. Because nothing says congratulations on your marriage quite like a bag of seeds that may or may not kill you. Now here's where things get interesting. There are two main types of almonds, sweet almonds and bitter almonds. Sweet almonds are the ones you eat every day, the ones in your almond milk, almond flour, and overpriced almond butter. Bitter almonds, on the other hand, are their sinister twins. Bitter almonds naturally contain a compound called amygdalin. When ingested, amygdalin breaks down into, you guessed it, cyanide. Yes, that's cyanide. The same stuff spy movies use for poison capsules hidden in molars. Eating a handful of bitter almonds could actually be fatal, which makes them one of the most misleading snacks in history. They look exactly like sweet almonds, but your digestive system definitely knows the difference. So how dangerous are bitter almonds, really? Well, it doesn't take much. Scientists estimate that eating as few as 7 to 10 raw bitter almonds could be lethal for a child, and around 50 or so could kill an adult. And if you're thinking, I could totally avoid that many, remember? You wouldn't know you were eating bitter almonds until it was way too late. To be fair, bitter almonds do taste, well, bitter. The name isn't just for fun, but imagine being the first unlucky person in history to find that out. Some poor soul thousands of years ago must have bitten into one, realized it didn't taste right, and then promptly realized it wasn't just bad flavor. It was toxic. That's one rough snack experiment. Here's the twist. Bitter almonds aren't completely useless. In fact, they've been used in cooking and medicine for centuries, just not in their raw form. When processed properly, the cyanide can be removed, leaving behind almond oil or almond extract. That strong almond flavor you taste in marzipan or certain pastries. Often that's bitter almond essence, detoxified and safe to eat. So, strangely, bitter almonds are kind of like that friend who's great at parties but absolutely terrible when left unsupervised. Handle them right, and they bring incredible flavor. Handle them wrong, and it's lights out. Because of the cyanide problem, bitter almonds are heavily regulated. In the US, you can't just walk into a store and buy a bag of raw, bitter almonds. They're banned from commercial sale in their natural form. Instead, only sweet almonds make it into the snack aisle. In Europe and the Middle East, bitter almonds are still used in small amounts for flavoring, but again, they have to be processed correctly first. That's why you'll sometimes hear recipes calling for bitter almond extract, but never for a quick handful of raw bitter almonds straight from the bag. Now, some of you might be wondering, Okay, but I've seen raw almonds at the grocery store. Are those poisonous? The answer is no. Those raw almonds you see in U.S. supermarkets are actually sweet almonds that have been pasteurized. By law, all almonds sold in the U.S. must undergo a treatment to reduce the risk of bacteria like salmonella. So while the label may say raw, they're not quite straight from the tree raw. Think of it as raw-ish. It's the same way we call cookie dough ice cream cookie dough, even though you can't actually bake it into cookies. Close enough, but not really. You might wonder, if almonds have been around for so long, why did sweet almonds become the star while bitter almonds got left behind? Well, the obvious answer is survival. Ancient farmers probably realized pretty quickly that people who ate sweet almonds lived to tell the tale, while those who ate bitter ones didn't. Through selective cultivation, humans essentially bred almond trees to produce mostly sweet almonds. Over time, the sweet almond became the agricultural favorite, and bitter almonds were relegated to specialty uses. It's a classic case of natural selection meets snack evolution. Imagine the family meeting. We're going to grow the almonds that don't kill us. Any objections? Almonds have always carried a sort of mystique. They're associated with health, wealth, and even love. But the bitter almond has a darker reputation, often tied to poisons and mystery. In old detective novels, for instance, cyanide poisoning is sometimes described as having a faint smell of bitter almonds. Though, fun fact, not everyone can actually smell it. Only a portion of the population can detect that odor. So basically, some people could walk right past a cyanide spill and have no idea, while others would be like, "Why does it smell like a dangerous cookie in here?" If you're munching on almonds from your local supermarket, you're safe. Those are sweet almonds, carefully cultivated and regulated to be non-toxic. The worst thing that might happen is you'll eat too much and regret it later when your stomach feels like a squirrel storage unit. Bitter almonds, on the other hand, are not casually available, at least in the U.S. So unless you're traveling abroad and specifically buying them in a traditional market, you're not at risk of accidentally downing a toxic snack. So, are raw almonds poisonous? The short answer is sometimes. If you're talking about sweet almonds, the kind in your granola bar or almond latte, then no, they're perfectly safe. But if you're talking about bitter almonds, then yes, they can be very dangerous if eaten raw. Thankfully, agriculture, regulations, and a healthy dose of common sense have made sure that most of us never even encounter the poisonous kind. It's one of those fascinating quirks of food history. Two nearly identical seeds, one delicious and healthy, the other a cyanide delivery system. It makes you wonder how many other everyday foods had to be tamed before they could sit safely on our shelves. So next time you grab a handful of almonds, you can snack in peace, knowing you're eating the sweet, safe version, and that you dodged a poison pitfall thanks to thousands of years of selective farming and modern food safety laws. And hey, if anyone ever accuses you of being boring at parties, just casually mention that almonds aren't really nuts and some of them can kill you. Instant conversation starter. Thank you for watching.